Her Imperial Highness, Mother of the Fatherland, Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Kronos, Regina Andor, Emperor Philippa Georgiou Augustus Eoponius Centarius. I love Emperor Georgiou. A conclusion I didn't exactly come to by the end of season 1 of Star Trek Discovery. The first 2 episodes took everything I had known and loved in a Starfleet captain and killed it by killing Captain Philippa Georgiou. Bold move? Question mark? But certainly one that left us with Philippa Georgiou's imperially evil counterpart at the end of season 1 of Star Trek Discovery.
You really are nothing like my Georgiou, are you?
No, and I never have been.
Obviously, the Star Trek Discovery showrunners were playing the long game here. And as we look back at season 3, we get to see a very changed Emperor Georgiou take a new path, one which we are going to see continue in the upcoming Section 31 movie. The change from season 1 to season 3 for Emperor Georgiou was so subtle, even the most diehard Philippa Georgiou fan may have missed it if they weren't looking very closely. And in the end, much like Prime Georgiou, Mirror Georgiou's destiny lies elsewhere. In Georgiou's final foray in Star Trek Discovery Terra Firma 1 and 2, we kick things off by immediately addressing her outstanding health issues. The former emperor is not in a good place mentally or physically. Dr. Culber continues to work to get at the root of Georgiou's problems, which entail both disturbing visions of her past with what looks like to be a destabilization of her physical makeup. Culber theorizes that Georgiou's adverse effects are due to both time travel and interdimensional travel, a theory which Kovich backs up with a previous case of a known interdimensional and temporal traveler, Commander Yeoh, who was unable to survive a similar trip from the Kelvin timeline, stating that our molecules yearn to operate within the time and dimension in which they were created. Kovich infers there is nothing to be done and that the last successful interdimensional crossing had been over 500 years ago. Culber then consults the vast knowledge of Discovery's sentient computer, Zora.
There is a solution.
Who suggests that the ship head to Dannus V, where the possibility of an unknown solution to Georgiou's problems may exist. Upon arriving to the planet's snowy surface, Burnham and Georgiou proceed on foot to the exact coordinates provided by Zora. We get what I think is a beautifully blocked scene analogous to the opening scenes of the series premiere, where Prime Georgiou and Commander Burnham traverse a desert planet to help a pre-warp civilization. Just the sheer imagery and the footsteps in the snow versus the footsteps in the sand kind of give us hints that this might be the end of the journey for Michael and Georgiou. After reaching the coordinates, the two find a strange entity named Carl, who appears out of nowhere, quite frankly. First off, upon careful examination, Carl is holding a newspaper that is from the same outlet shown in a beloved Star Trek episode, The City on the Edge of Forever, The Star Dispatch. Then there's a newspaper headline announcing Emperor Georgiou's death, leaving us wondering if Georgiou would have to meet a similar fate as Edith Keeler. And then there's this whole thing with this doorway portal that, is made to keep us guessing.
Adorable.
As the doorway portal more closely resembles something from Twilight Zone versus the Guardian of Forever. After being coerced by Carl that a trip through the gate may be the solution to her state of decay, Georgiou briefly reasons with Burnham before entering the doorway. Georgiou finds herself back in the mirror universe at a time right before she would have been betrayed by mirror-Burnham. This is a very crucial point of time that we didn't see in the show before in season 1. And it lets us see the fall of mirror-Burnham, though it doesn't take long for us to see that while everything was in place to play out as it had before, Georgiou had something much different in mind this time around. Georgiou's time in the Prime Universe had changed her for the better. The nature and influence of the Federation, while definitely not perfect, had subtly changed the former emperor over the past 2 seasons. The former emperor is not the same, and she would try her best to will her enlightenment upon her former mirror existence. It ends in a fever pitch in which mirror-Burnham would reach the same fate, but this time with Georgiou leaving no stone unturned in an earnest attempt to reclaim Michael's loyalty. The beauty of this episode was seeing a changed Georgiou back in her element, a place that once fit like a glove now being a place of discomfort and consternation with, the main goal of being, I want to save Mirror-Burnham. The journey into the mirror universe would also see the former emperor make an appeal to her Kelpian slave, Mirror-Saru, stating to the Kelpian that she had seen his race pass through Vahari and that his race had the potential to be so much better. While seemingly being able to convince Mirror-Saru of his potential greatness, her efforts toward Mirror-Burnham would not be so successful. Burnham fights it at every freaking turn, though after months of torture, Burnham seemingly begins to turn and pledges her loyalty. In the end, it was all a ruse on the part of Mirror-Burnham, and a final showdown between both Georgiou and Burnham loyalists left Mirror-Burnham dead and the Emperor at the brink of the same. As Emperor Georgiou's life begins to fade from her showdown with Mirror-Burnham, she awakes back on Dannus V, unsure if what she had just experienced was all just a dream. Georgiou's biomonitor reads that a total of almost 3 months had passed, though Burnham states that she had only been unconscious a few seconds. Carl strongly implies that what Georgiou experienced was an alternate mirror universe, more or less framing the journey as a test for the former emperor, one that she apparently passed with flying colors. In a beautifully cinematic moment, Carl reveals that he is the guardian of forever, with a resounding shift in tone of voice and a beautiful reveal of the door portal turning into the Forever Gate we know and love from the beloved original series episode. In the Guardian's revelation, it states that he had been in hiding after being used as a pawn during the Temporal Wars, especially poignant considering the time and place in which Discovery has landed. While Georgiou has passed the Guardian's test, she was not out of the woods quite yet, as COVID stated.
Turns out our molecules are designed to function in the time in which they're created.
Finally, the Guardian offers Georgiou one final trip through the portal. While we don't know exactly when or where the Guardian of Forever is going to send or sends Emperor Georgiou, we have to assume that it's somewhere where the mirror universe and the prime universe were in more alignment, and judging from the Section 31 trailer, it seems like it's going to be a little bit later than where Georgiou originally came from in the 2250s. Michael and Georgiou embrace each other one last time. At this moment, Emperor Georgiou finally reveals all the true feelings she has had for Prime Michael in their short time together. The feisty relationship between the two has progressed from this borderline hostile to sort of this unspoken admiration between the two, culminating in this very special moment. A moment in which Emperor Georgiou states that Burnham has given her a new lease on life, and in doing so showed her a new way to live, to which Burnham replies,
"You are my Philippa,"
before stepping through the Forever Gate and out of the life of Michael Burnham forever. I love Philippa Georgiou, Prime and Mirror Universe alike. While Captain Philippa Georgiou's rather short debut conveyed the standard of the apex Starfleet captain, Emperor Georgiou conveyed the untapped good in all of us, if given the right set of circumstances. In looking back, it's that journey to uncover that undiscovered virtue in the Emperor that I've really grown to love. A journey that originally left Michael with hopes to find some semblance of her former mentor in the Emperor, but ultimately pivoted to a profound appreciation in what the hardened Georgiou brought to the table. An appreciation that may have been made even more apparent to the commander after a year long in 3188. I think most of all, the true tragedy of this all was Michelle Yeoh having to leave Star Trek Discovery. She was a true beacon for just Star Trek as a whole, and she went on to bigger and better things, but I feel like it was just a loss with her gone. As Captain Georgiou, I can't gush enough about the way in which she embodied the idea and demeanor I envision in the best of us. And as Emperor Georgiou, the pure disposition of evil was conveyed so emphatically. I was left wondering if the character could ever be redeemed. Polar opposite characters that were both expertly portrayed by Michelle Yeoh in a way in which I never once doubted the authenticity of either. And we probably have Michelle Yeoh to thank for some of the martial arts we've seen in Discovery, from her showdown with Leland to the final fight with Mirror Michael. And this brings us to the flutter and the news and the trailer we've got for the Section 31 movie coming up. A movie that first was supposed to include Shazad Latif back as Ash Tyler, which apparently from the trailer, that's not going to happen unless it's once again some secret Ash Tyler thing that's going on. It's possible, I guess. So I'm amped for that movie. Even though the tone of the trailer felt kind of strange, I'm still amped about what they're going to do and the great cast they have along with Michelle Yeoh and the inclusion of some legacy characters, which is going to make it really, really fun. And finally, I think I'll probably forever remain bitter with her leaving Discovery. And I do have to appreciate what the showrunners did for this episode to give Michelle Yeoh, to give Georgiou this grand send-off. They could have easily just let it been a 10-minute plot point that sent Georgiou off on her way, but they didn't. They really dug in and they made it what I feel like is a really special 2-episode arc for the Emperor, or for Michelle Yeoh, as she ended her run on Discovery. And I really love that they dug in with this story. They really established the rules around her departure at every turn, including the temporal effects seen among the crew, the reference to the Kelvin verse with Commander Yeoh and the intriguing flashback, and the whole molecule destabilization thing. So just once again, bravo to the groundwork that created this truly memorable send-off for Emperor Georgiou. And again, on to bigger and better things in the Section 31 movie. What did you think about Michelle Yeoh's, Emperor Georgiou's last foray in Star Trek Discovery? Did you think we'd see her back before the show ended? And ultimately, I guess, what hopes do you have for the Section 31 movie that we hope to see sometime in 2025? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and until next time, guys.
Have my ganglia.